Okay guys, today we're going to talk about polynomial division. You already know how to do polynomial addition, subtraction, and multiplication. You know that as combining like terms, which you do with addition and subtraction. And for multiplication, you probably used either the FOIL method or the box method. Today we're going to talk about what happens when you divide two polynomials. Actually, we're going to talk about how to divide two polynomials. I'm going to give you two different ways to do it. The first is long division, and the second option is called synthetic division. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of each, 3 examples of each, and the different kind of problems you can run into while doing those problems. And then we will try it on our homework. So the first thing we're going to do is long division, and just give me a second. Let me set my video back up. You can use long division whenever when you're dividing by a binomial that has a leading coefficient greater than 1. So what I mean by that is maybe we have 6x squared minus 20x plus 125 divided by 2x plus 8. So in this case, I'm talking about this coefficient right here. This number is bigger than 1, so I have to use long division. Now I'm going to take a step to the side here for a second, and I'm going to remind you how to do normal long division. So let's say I asked you to divide 255 by 12. If you remember, we're looking to see how many times 12 can go in the first number. In this case, we can't find a number that multiplies to 12 to give us 2. So now we look at the first and second number. 12 goes into 25 2 times, because 2 times 12 is 24. And then the next step is to subtract your terms, giving us 1. And then you drop down your next digit here, and now you have to figure out how many times 12 goes into 15. Well, 1 times 12 is 12, and then you subtract, giving us a remainder of 3. And then when you write your answer, sorry, just a second. Our answer is at the top and our remainder is at the bottom. So we would write 21 and then 3 over our divisor of 12. So the answer would be 21 and 3/12. We are going to use that same method to do long division. So I'm going to set this up so my divisor, 2x plus 8, is on the outside of my division, and 6x squared minus 20x plus 125 is on the inside. Notice that my longer polynomial is inside and my shorter one is on the outside. But the steps here are the same. I am trying to find a number that multiplies to 2x that will then give me 6x squared. You always want to make this exact term happen when you're dividing. So the only number that multiplies to 2 to give me 6 is 3. And then you also have to make sure you have the right amount of x's. So I have x squared here and x here. To be able to combine like terms, I need another x, because x times x is x squared, and 3 times 2 is 6. Now, the most common mistake people will make is they forget about the 8. You have to use the 8 on every line that you use the 2 on. So this time, after I get my 6x squared, I'm also going to do 3x times 8 to give me plus 24x. These terms should match, and these should match, because we're going to combine them by subtracting. Just like I did in my division problem, we found the difference of these two terms. Now, one thing I like to say over and over again is, instead of just writing your subtraction sign out here, go ahead and distribute your subtraction by changing your signs, because people will always forget about this second term. Okay, now when you combine like terms, these two eliminate each other. That's exactly what we're looking for every single time. And then we have negative 20 minus 24 to give us negative 44x. Okay, we're going to bring down our 125. Same pattern that we use for long division of numbers, real numbers, we're going to use for long division of polynomials. Okay, now the pattern repeats itself, so I'm going to do the same steps until I get no more terms left that I can bring down. So I'm trying to find a number that multiplies times 2x to give me negative 44x. Another way to think about this is if you divide by this number, you'll get this number up here. But I like to think it as multiplication, but if you like the division aspect of it, go right ahead. So negative 22 times 2x gives me negative 44x. But then I have to also do negative 22 times 8. So negative 22 times 8 is negative 176. Okay, same pattern as before. I'm going to change my signs. They used to be negatives, now they're positives. That makes this term eliminate because negative 44 plus positive 44 is 0. And then we're going to combine these two numbers because they have the same sign. So that gives me a remainder of 301. So 6x squared minus 20x plus 125 divided by 2x plus 8 is 3x minus 22 plus 301 over 2x plus 8. So just like I set up my fraction from the division of whole numbers before, I'm going to put my remainder over my divisor in my answer. This is a plus sign because this is a positive answer. If it was a negative answer, I would have used a minus sign. Okay, if you get it, great. Try this next one before I start and see if you can do it without me. If you don't get it, don't worry. We're going to keep going. I'm going to do 2 more of these. It's all about pattern recognition, okay? Can you find the pattern that I'm doing? Over and over again. So I'm going to set up my 2x minus 1 on the outside. Notice that it does have a 2 as the coefficient, so I have to use long division. I'm going to set inside my cubic polynomial here. Okay, now I'm trying to find a number that multiplies times 2x to give me 4x cubed. Well, the number we can do separately from the variable. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. And then I have 1x on the outside, 3 x's on the inside. So I need 2 more x's. Because when I multiply x's, I add the exponent. So 2x times 2x squared is 4x cubed. Don't forget to do 2x squared times negative 1 to fill in the space under the x squared. Again, that's a very common mistake that people will make. They'll get 0 and then bring it down and then not know what to do. It's because they forgot to do this step right here. Okay, don't forget to change your signs. We're distributing that minus sign. Combine like terms. That gives us negative 6x squared. Now you can drop down your next term so that we have 2 terms to match these 2 terms. Okay, I have a negative here, so this is going to need to be negative because this is a positive. I need to make 6, and it's 2, so 6 divided by 2 is 3, or 3 times 2 is 6. There are 2 x's here. I have 1 x here. I need another x. So let me check and make sure I did that right. Negative 3x times 2x is negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times negative 1. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3x. Okay, change your signs. These 2 cancel. 7 minus 3 is 4. I'm almost finished. I still have another number up here that I can drop. So I'm going to drop down my 2. Okay, this one is straightforward here. 2 times what is 4? Well, that's positive 2. That's 4x, and then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Oh, look how beautiful this one's going to turn out. Changing my signs to distribute my negative, they all cancel out. That's okay. That just means there's no remainder. So the answer is right here. I'm going to rewrite it, probably. There we go. Okay. Okay. I hope you're getting the hang of it. I want to introduce one more long division problem. This time, I'm going to be missing a variable. This happens twice on your homework, so pay attention and make sure that every time that you do a problem that you have all the variables. So for example, these two problems, if I look at the powers, it's a power of 2, a power of 1, and then no x, which means a power of 0. Down in this one, a power of 3, a power of 2, a power of 1, and then no x, which again is a power of 0. In this next example, I want to show you what happens if I'm missing one of the powers. Hang on, I need some space. There we go. So this time I have x minus 4, and we're going to divide. Oh, I should have written this different, sorry. X to the 4th plus 2x squared minus 60x plus 26 divided by x minus 4. I didn't write the problem for you. Okay, before I write it in here, I want to call your attention to the powers. Power of 4, power of 2, power of 1, power of 0. I am missing a power of 3. We cannot just ignore that. We have to take account for that power of 3, because if I don't, when I start to multiply, I won't have like terms that I can combine. So to fix this problem, when I write my answer, when I write my problem inside my division here, I need to put a plus 0x cubed, so that when I multiply it out, I have an x cubed term that I can combine. And then the rest we're going to copy down. 2x squared minus 60x plus 26. If you don't do that, you'll have a problem. Now this one doesn't have a number out in front of the x, so I could use synthetic division for this problem, but I wanted to show you one more example of long division using a missing term. So I need to multiply something by x to get x to the 4th. They both have a coefficient of 1. That means the number in front can be assumed to be a 1. So I don't need a number up here, but I do need more x's. I have 1x and I have 4 x's, which means I need x cubed to be multiplied times x to give me x to the 4th. Hang on just a second. Sorry, had to sneeze. Okay, so then I also have to do x cubed times negative 4, so that's negative 4x cubed. You see how I need these both to be x cubed so I can continue to do this problem? Change your signs. Okay, so 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, so this is 4x cubed. Drop down your next term and continue. We're going to start our pattern over again. So this has a 1, this is a 4. I need to multiply 4 times 1 to get 4, and I'm missing 2 x's, so 4x squared times x is 4x cubed. 4x squared times negative 4 is negative 16x squared. Change your signs. Combine like terms. 0, 18, x squared. Drop your negative 60. And here we go again. We're going to do it again. Same pattern. I need to multiply 18 times 1 to get 18. And x times x to achieve an x squared here. Whoopsie daisy. x times x gives me 18x squared. 18x times negative 4 is, oh goodness, 72, negative 72. Change your signs. Combine like terms. These have different signs now because I had to change the signs. So I am subtracting these two numbers and keeping the sign of the bigger number, which is a positive 72. So here we have 12x. Okay, drop your 26 and we're going to do it again. One more time. Find a number that multiplies times 1 to give me 12x. So that is 12. Now, I'm going to pause you for a second and I want you to notice something. Each time I'm adding a new term up here, the powers are getting smaller. This should always happen because our powers of our terms are getting smaller as we divide. So just make sure that's happening, that you don't end up with no x's up here or all x cubes up here. One other thing I want you to notice is this answer starts off one less than our divisor, right? So we have x cubed for our answer, but we started off by dividing x to the fourth. Okay, sorry, side note. I'm going to multiply 12 times x is 12x. 12 times negative 4, which is negative 48. Okay, we're going to change our signs one last time. Combine like terms. These are going to add together because now they have the same sign, and we have 74 as a remainder. So my answer for this problem is x cubed plus 4x squared plus 18x plus 12. This is a positive 74. We're going to divide it by the divisor of x minus 4 to get our answer. Notice that I'm not just pointing up here and saying, okay, this is our answer, we're done. I rewrote it together. No r's in sight for remainder. I hate that little r. Please don't use it. Write it as a fraction. Okay, now some of you are thinking that's a lot. Some of you are already stopped listening to me and you're doing your homework. That's fine. We're going to show you now how to do synthetic division. So come back to me, try it again. This time I'm going to make it faster. So if you are like, I'm not doing this is taking up too much time, this is crazy. You might love synthetic division. Now, it might take you a second to catch on, so I'm going to do 2 problems again like I did the other one, and then I'll do one with the missing term. Synthetic division can only be used when we have a coefficient of 1. For example, we have x minus 4, like in the last problem. Maybe we have x plus 7, x minus 3. It has to have a leading coefficient of 1. I'm getting tired of green, so I'm going to switch over. This time we're going to try x squared minus 18x plus 81 divided by x minus 9. Okay, there are a couple things you have to remember in synthetic division, and I'm going to try to take it slow. This is all about patterns again. The first thing you need to remember is that you always take the opposite of this number. So in this case, it's negative. I'm going to use a positive 9 when I do the division. And that has to do with the zero product theorem. I'll tell you in just a second. Now the next step, I drew a division line. You see how this is in a little box? It kind of is like flipping over the division. That's how I think about it, so I remember. We're just going to isolate it over here so we don't get it mixed up with our coefficients. Then we're going to take the coefficients off of our polynomial. So I'm going to take off the 1, negative 18, and positive 81. I'm going to write it in my problem. Shoot. I'm sorry about my mess up here. You only need one little line. I'm cutting off my remainder so I remember that this side is my remainder. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay, the first step you want to do is drop down your first coefficient so I have something to work with. And then anything on the outside gets multiplied. 1 times 9 is 9. I put it in this empty space under the next coefficient so that I can get another number to multiply. Anything on the inside we're going to add. I'm having trouble with my camera. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to combine negative 18 and 9, which gives me negative 9. Okay, anything on the outside we're going to multiply. 9 times negative 9 is negative 81. Anything on the inside we're going to add 0. I went fast. I'm going to do another one. Don't stress out yet. Just a minute. Okay, so let me show you again. I dropped down the 1, I multiplied the outside, put the answer here. Added the inside, got a new answer. Multiplied the outside, put the answer here. Added the inside, got a new answer. I have no more terms, so I stop. This is a 0. This is actually a fun fact. It tells me that x minus 9 is a factor of this, and also tells me that 9 is a 0 of this polynomial. So if I wanted to find all of the zeros of a polynomial, I can use one of the factors and then use synthetic division to keep finding more factors. So this is a great way to find factors of a polynomial. We're going to use it to find asymptotes and rational functions, but I just want to make sure you know how to use it first. Okay, so how do we write our answer from this? Well, our answer is right here this time, instead of being on top of the division symbol. And what you do is you take one less power than we started with. So we're going to have, instead of a degree 2 polynomial, our answer will be a degree 1 polynomial. So this is 1x, which is just x, minus 9, okay, with the remainder of 0, so I don't need anything else. So the answer is just x minus 9. I'm going to do another one so you can see that again. This time I want to do, let's say we have 3x squared minus 10x plus 1 divided by x minus 4. Okay, I want to check if I can do synthetic division. There's a 1 out here in the coefficient, so yes, I'm good to go. I'm going to take the opposite of a negative 4, which gives me a positive 4. I'm going to set up my problem by taking the coefficients off of this problem right here. Okay, drop down your first number. Multiply the outside. That answer goes here. Combine the inside, giving us 2. Multiply the outside. 4 times 2 is 8. That answer goes here. Add, giving us 9. Okay, and you're done. So we started off with a second degree polynomial. We're going to have an answer of a 1 degree polynomial. So 3x. This is a positive 2. There's no sign, no negative sign here, so we put plus 2. This time we have a remainder of 9, and it's a positive 9, so I'm going to put plus 9 divided by this binomial that we divided by, x minus 4. It's our leftover when we divided by x minus 4. Okay, I'm going to do one more problem, and I'm just noticing right now that I am using all the minus. I have x minus 9, so I used positive 9. I have x minus 4, so I used positive 4. I'm about to do a problem with x minus 2, so I'm going to use a positive 2. If these were instead positive numbers here, we would use a negative number to divide, okay? Just keep that in mind, because that's going to happen on your homework. I'm out of paper. Sorry, people. One last problem, because I want to make sure you remember how to use the 0, because, again, you have 2 problems on your homework that have a 0. So we have x to the 4th plus 15x squared minus 19x plus 93 divided by x minus 2. Okay, so looking at my powers here, we have a 4, a power of 2, power of 1, power of 0. I do not have a power of 3. Sometimes you won't have a power of x. Sometimes you won't have a power of 2. It just so happens, again, I'm missing my power of 3. So when I set this up, I'm going to put a positive 2 over here in this box. When I pull off the coefficients, I'm going to put a 1 for the power of 4. I'm missing x cubed because it's a 0x cubed. So we're going to make sure to write that 0 in, even though it's not written in our polynomial. Okay, I have a 15, negative 19, and a 93. Notice that I'm taking the sign that's with the number in the problem. Okay, here we go. Drop down your first number. I'm sorry, I already multiplied. Whoopsie. Should be a 1. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 times 2 is 38. 38 minus 19 is 19. Notice that I did that backwards. You can read this in any direction because addition subtraction is commutative. So I can say negative 19 plus 38 or 38 minus 19. Both are correct. Okay, again, 2 times 19 to give me 38. And then 93 plus 38 is 131. Okay, so if you want to see my arrows, this is what I did. This is the pattern I used. Don't stop here. Write your answer. I started with a fourth degree polynomial. My answer needs to be a third degree polynomial, and it's a coefficient of 1. Okay, then we're going to go to the 2, and we change the degree every time. You just go down by 1. So 19x, 19 with no x, and then a remainder of a positive 131 divided by x minus 2. So there's my answer right there. Woo. Okay, good luck on your homework. Please, if you have questions, reach out to me, ask for help. Don't forget to join the tutorial group before your next test. They're going to make sure to go over all the information on the review. So if you need help, reach out to me or reach out to our tutor.